So I didn't have time to fill in an intro because we were running super late to my girlfriend's party, but I'm starting off with the face and I'm using the Becca Backlight priming filter for my primer because my skin was really acting up and I wanted a good base so my skin didn't get irritated and just nasty looking throughout the night. For my foundation, I'm using the Stila Stay All Day foundation. Anytime you're working with Halloween makeup, you want to make sure that you're using products that are known to stay for long periods of time. So even though this is a stay all day foundation, I'm going to be doing some other tips and tricks to make sure that my foundation, the base of our makeup, is going to be lasting all throughout the night. I am applying this with a damp beauty sponge just to add a little bit of extra moisture to my skin. And then I'm using the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer to conceal the dark circles underneath my eyes, as well as to prime my eyelid for eyeshadow. You definitely want to make sure that you have a good concealer for this makeup look because we are going to be doing kind of like the droopy doll eyes underneath our eyelid. So make sure that there are no leftover remnants of any dark circles. To set all of that, I'm going to be using the Kat Von D Lock-It powder. This is just a translucent powder. I'm using this to set my eyes for eyeshadow, and then I'm also using it to set that concealer that I put underneath of my eyes. And then additionally, I'm going to be setting my entire face lightly with this. This is another trick. Even if you have more dry skin, just lightly tap a translucent powder all over your face to help your makeup stay all night long. Digging into the Morphe 25B palette, I wanted the eyeshadows on top to be like an actual eye look, kind of similar to what you would see with a doll. So I'm just applying this into the crease and then taking this next kind of like orangey, muted terracotta shade and applying that directly into the crease, but keeping it a little bit lower than the last shade that we went in with. And then finally, I'm using this kind of like muted chocolate color, just applying that to the outer V, making sure not to bring this too high up. I just want it to be nice and dark to give my eyes that almond doll-eyed effect. And then I'm adding a little bit of shimmer because I've always seen dolls with shimmer eyeshadow. I just think it kind of adds a little bit of a feminine touch and a girliness to the look. So I spritzed a little bit of my PIXI Glow Mist onto my brush before applying this color. And honestly, just a side note, the 25B palette from Morphe is amazing. Seriously, the pigment is so good, you guys. And then to deepen up that outer V again, I'm just taking a little dab of the chocolate color. And then I use the Koko lashes in the style Amore. These were really, really big and wispy and spiky at the same time. Perfect for a doll look. Then to create the under eye look, I'm using the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in Milk. You're definitely going to want an eye pencil or something that is super pigmented. So first, I'm just traditionally lining my waterline. Nothing new or changed here. And then this is where we see the change. So I'm lightly kind of drawing out the lower part. Honestly, I just kind of followed where my natural like bags are underneath my eyes. And if you tend to get a little bit messy with this, don't worry, you can always clean it up with concealer. It's a little bit hard with this jumbo eye pencil just because it's, it's a jumbo eye pencil. It's not super precise, but you can definitely clean it up with concealer. That's exactly what I did, and it ended up looking just how I wanted it to look. Also, make sure that you cover up the area between your lashes, so make sure you get it all over your lower lashes as well. And then I'm using this white eyeshadow from Makeup Geek. I can't remember the name of it, but I'm going to have everything listed down below for you guys. I'm just lightly packing this all over that NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil. I actually did this step before I went in and cleaned out with concealer, but it doesn't really matter which one you do first. These are the two liners I'm using, Eyeko and Wet n Wild, for different parts of the look. So at first I lined a little bit underneath of that white with the Wet n Wild liner, the Mega Liner, and then now I'm just making little eyelashes. I was in like a huge hurry, so it didn't turn out exactly how I wanted it, but it's okay. So I'm using the Eyeko felt tip liner, just making like little lines connecting it to the Wet n Wild liner underneath. This is going to be like the lower lashes. So this ended up being a lot lower than I wanted it to be. Just a side note, I would recommend making the white a little bit higher. That's just what I would have preferred. Now for blush, I'm using this Baby Doll Pink from Colourpop. It is with the Duo Done Deal, and I'm applying that to the apples of my cheeks as much as I can. This is why I wanted the eye shadow, or the eye, like, what am I trying to say? Oh my God, you guys, I was up way too late last night. The white part of the eye, I wanted it to be a little bit higher so that this wouldn't happen, but it's okay. So we are just applying that directly to the cheeks, making sure it's super pigmented and it gives us that really nice doll look. And then I'm going to be cleaning up underneath of that to make sure that it doesn't look sloppy, just with some translucent powder. I'm using the Kat Von D translucent powder and a damp beauty sponge to kind of like bake underneath of that. I definitely recommend this step, especially if you got a little bit sloppy with the blush, just like I did, because it really pulls everything together. And then after a little while, I just kind of buffed that off, and it turned out really nicely because a lot of the color was really concentrated on the apples of my cheeks, and it also kind of pulled the apples of my cheeks down, which I appreciated for this makeup look. Now for the fun part, I'm using the Wet n Wild Mega Liner. This is kind of like a felt tip, but it like dips into kind of like a little bucket of the liner. You have to have like a matte liner. So even if it doesn't go on matte, make sure that it dries matte for this look. Obviously you can see it's a little bit wet. So basically you're just going to kind of draw like an odd looking shape, and then you're going to fill it in. And then as you kind of pull the cracks out, the closer you are to like where the actual hole in the face is, you want to put a little bit more pressure on the brush, and then as you go out, you want to kind of lift up and put less pressure on the brush. That'll make it look like the center crack is where a majority of the pressure is, and then as it goes out, that's kind of like where the crack is starting to diminish. And I really liked having a really large crack on the forehead just because I have a lot of forehead space. So I was able to do that. And then I wanted a couple more little cracks throughout. So I chose to do one on my cheek that could kind of like go up into my blush and my lip area. And then I did another little one on my forehead, which is right here. I didn't want there to be too many big ones. And then I also ended up doing one lower on my neck, which I thought kind of pulled the entire look together, so it wasn't just the face that was cracked. And that's going to complete this makeup look. I really hope that you guys had fun, and please subscribe to my channel. I'll see you next time. Bye!